BBC Radio Scotland. Time now for our first serving of the evening. It's Copenhagen against Hearts in the Conference League with Alan Preston, Ryan McGowan and Thomas Duncan.
Thanks, Kenny. Good evening, everyone. And the final third of Hearts Conference League phase is upon us. The first third was extremely positive, back-to-back victories, but back-to-back defeats have followed against Heidenheim and Cercle Bruges without scoring. But it's still tantalisingly close for Hearts in terms of clinching a place in the knockout stages beyond Christmas. It would be the first time they've done that as a club since 1989. It would be a magnificent achievement, and I would say anything they could get tonight would be a huge bonus, with then the full focus moving on to next Thursday night at home to Petro Club of Moldova, which is an eminently winnable match for them. This one, of course, is winnable too, but it will take an almighty performance, probably their best one of the season. That's what Neil Critchley himself said. Such is the quality of Copenhagen. They have only the 5 points in this campaign so far, but they face some tough fixtures. Surprisingly lost at home against the Polish side, Jagiellonia. Last-minute goal at the Parken Stadium, lost 2-1. And then they drew away to Real Betis, and then at home to Istanbul Başakşehir, who of course played Hearts a couple of seasons ago in the Conference League, and then they beat Dinamo Minsk 2-1 away from home, the exact same result Hearts got against Minsk away from home. So their need is pretty urgent if they want to improve on their 5 points and themselves get into the knockout stages, which would be the least they expect, given that they are often competing in, well, the Europa League at least, and last season of course the Champions League, where they got to the last 16, beating Manchester United and drawing with Bayern Munich, beating Galatasaray as well, and before losing in the last 16 to Manchester City. Of course, Scott McKenna featured in that tie, the Scotland international. He's moved on to Las Palmas, but Copenhagen will certainly expect victory here tonight on their own patch. And Hearts making 3 changes for this one this evening. No Craig Halkett, as we discussed. He's been left out altogether as a precaution. Moussa Drame is ineligible. He's not in the European squad, and James Wilson drops to the bench. In come Frankie Kent, back fit again, Alan Forrest and Kenneth Vargas. So they line up with Gordon in goals, Oyegoki, Kent, Rolls and Penrice the back four, Boateng, Devlin, Forrest and Spittle across the midfield, and Shankland partnering Kenneth Vargas up top. And the Copenhagen line-up: Trott in goals, Lopez, Pereira, Hatsidiakos and Dix the back four, Delaney and Clem holding him in midfield, Klaassen in front, and then Silva, Elyounoussi and Chiaka are the attacking line, and a dangerous one at that. And we get underway at the Parken Stadium. Copenhagen kicking off and immediately playing it down the right-hand side to Kevin Dix, who gets into the edge of the box. Chance squeeze forward. Here's Chiaka, picks it up in the box, but Hearts managed to get a challenge in, and then Spittle gets it away to Penrice, who rattles it off Dix and out for a Hearts throw-in. But Copenhagen, Alan Preston on the front foot straight away there.
Yeah, and you can hear the atmosphere in the background. It's big support for the home side. Hearts just need to settle down a little bit, take their time, play their way into the game.
Yeah, Copenhagen, certainly a team that like to play aggressively, get on the front foot. They're unbeaten in their last 12 matches. They've only failed to score in 2 of their 30 games this season in all competitions. However, as I mentioned earlier, just the 1 clean sheet in their last 14. They've practically got an entire new back four this season from the side that did reach the last 16 of the Champions League. It's taken a while to gel, and Kilmarnock did put them under some pressure in the tie in the playoff rounds. Unlucky to lose 2-0 at the Parken Stadium before the 1-1 draw at Rugby Park, where they gave them a fright in the early stages. Marley Watkins taking the lead. Copenhagen now trying to play it out from the back. It's Hatsidiakos, the Greek international, playing at left centre-back. Gives it to Lopez, the left-back, who plays it long, looking for Chiaka, and he gets there. And left corner of the box, looking for an option, nudges it back to Lopez. Lopez comes in onto the right foot, strikes it goal, blocked, and it breaks into the middle of the pitch, and it's loose, and Kevin Dix, the right back, goes after it. The Dutch-born Indonesian international, he's playing at right back this evening, usually plays at left back, can also play at centre back. So interesting that he's come across this right hand side for Copenhagen this evening as it's played forwards, headed away by Kent, and then it's won by Copenhagen, who come down the left-hand side. It's Lopez, touches it out to Robert, and it's Copenhagen just pinning Hearts back, goalless after a couple of minutes. Here's Pereira, centre-back, chips it forward, little touch from Klaassen, breaks for Clem, who puts it up into the air, left-hand side now. And it's Copenhagen just getting their foot on the ball, stroking it about. Hearts just trying to keep their shape, push them back. And it's going to take a really disciplined performance, you feel, here, Ryan McGowan.
Yeah, I think so. And I think early signs is showing that Copenhagen are so comfortable on the ball, but there's already been a couple of times Hearts have nicked it or picked up that second ball and not been able to get 2 or 3 passes together. And, you know, we spoke about it at the start of the game. If Hearts want to get anything into this, they're going to have to keep the ball. So these opportunities when the ball does drop in the middle of the pitch, the likes of Devlin and Boateng have to get a couple of passes in to settle Hearts down a tiny bit.
And El Yunusi plays it forward to Chiaka, who put it round the corner for runners to chase, but Rolls gets it clear, but Copenhagen come again down the left-hand side of the Hearts box, and it's stabbed into the area, controlled by Robert, and work it back in. Hearts really struggling to get out at the moment. That's a decent challenge from Shanklin, but now Copenhagen still have it, left-hand side of the area, into the box, looking for El Yunusi, who's standing about the penalty spot, but it's intercepted by Spittle, and then it's fired into the area, and that's straight down the throat of Craig Gordon, who is able to swallow it up, and by Hearts a bit of time, a bit of breathing space.
Yeah, as Ryan said, that, you know, Hearts are not going to have a lot of the ball. When they do have it, can they keep it? You know, people have got to be brave on the ball. See Craig Gordon just bowling it out now to Penrice and try to get underway. They need to keep the ball. Just giving it away, 2 passes, giving it away. It's just going to keep coming back at them. They're going to have to be brave, play it into the midfield, try and get up to Shanklin and move up the park. This 1 and 2 passes and giving it away, it's not going to wash, I'm afraid.
Copenhagen looking to regain their title this season, having lost it to Midtjylland last term, finished 3rd in the Danish Super League, despite the progression in the Champions League that I mentioned. They're top of the top flight at the moment as they've hit the winter break in Denmark, only on goal difference, so it is extremely tight. Here's Dix, controls it with the right foot, looking for an option ahead of him, gives it to El Yunusi, the former Celtic forward. 9 goals, 9 assists this season, goes back to Dix at right back, and then Pereira and Hatsiadakos centre circle. Hearts getting a bit more forward in terms of pushing Copenhagen back, but now the home side spring forward, and again Chiaka looks for El Yunusi, pass blocked. Chiaka still has it in the area, right-hand side. Good tackle though, and Hearts can come away with it. Here's Penrice, looks up, plays the ball forward. Shanklin and Vargas are there. Vargas takes it, and then Vargas has to flick it inside to Alan Forrest, but it's behind him, and it will be mopped up at the back by Copenhagen. But that was a bit better from Hearts, good from James Penrice.
Again, he's just such a good player this season for Hearts, and, you know, first of all winning the tackle and then just having that composure to play the 1-2 with Spittle, a nice ball up the line, and that's what Hearts are going to have to do when they are under pressure, playing that 1 or 2 passes, breaking that first initial press, and then getting themselves up the pitch.
Copenhagen have it again, no Delaney, vastly experienced player, played for Sevilla, Dortmund, and a club legend at Copenhagen, where he's returned for another spell. Here is Dix, right-hand side, into El Yunusi, flicks it forward. El Yunusi gets it back on the edge of the box. Again, Hearts able to get bodies round in that changed dark blue kit, and Shanklin controls it midway through his own half. He's trying to burl away from William Clem and wins the free kick, and a valuable one at that. Still goalless, 6 played. Really
good play by Lawrence Shanklin. He just takes the ball and keeps it up a couple of times, gets a challenge from behind. The guy's pulling his jersey as well. It's a free kick. Hearts can just settle down because they've hardly had a touch of the ball in this opening period.
That's where he has been so good this season, you know, albeit his goals aren't there. You know, Hearts have been under immense pressure this sort of opening 6 minutes, and ball comes up to him, holds it up, wins a foul, and allows Hearts to get a little bit of a foothold on the game.
Yeah, it's invaluable stuff from the captain, but as soon as Hearts pass it sideways or backwards, Copenhagen are straight onto them, and the home side have won a free kick. Lopez has gone down. Oyagoke is the guilty man, but I think Hearts they're not going to get too many touches of the ball at the back tonight by the look of how Copenhagen are going to play, and they need to try and play forward quickly if possible.
Yeah, they all want, listen, we all want them to play the beautiful game if they can through the thirds. Sometimes that doesn't happen. You know, you're getting that much pressure from the front of Copenhagen. Can you drop it in the midfield? Can you hit it forward a bit quicker?
Well, a point may be enough for Hearts to reach the knockouts. The final two games will know more once this round of games is completed. But it is a huge advantage to have Petro Cup at home. They're just the 1 point so far in their opening 4 games. It was at Başakşehir, against Başakşehir. So they're not going to be pushovers as such next week, but Hearts will be strong favourites. So if they can hang in here tonight and get something, it would be massive. Here's El Yunusi on the halfway line, goes backwards to Gabriel Pereira across the Hatzidakos, who we could be seeing playing against Scotland in the Nations League playoff in June, but there's a free kick given away about 40 yards out. Klaassen goes down, Frankie Kent with a trip, and it will be a decent opportunity for Copenhagen to deliver this into the Hearts box. It's just a late one from Frankie Kent as he tried to get his body in front of the ball, but he's guilty of blocking Victor Klaassen, another vastly experienced player, over 70 caps for Sweden, played in Ligue 1 in France for Bordeaux, quality player, club captain, plays in that number 10 role, likes to pick up those kind of positions we just saw him doing by the free kick.
Yeah, this is interesting. Hearts try to hold a high line outside the box. I wonder if they're going to stay there. They'll drop back probably. But you can see this has been where Hearts' downfall this season has been set plays.
Yeah, Alan said it, it's a very high line. Here comes the delivery, swung to the back post, and it's really well worked, and there's a free header about 7 yards out from Gabriel Pereira, and he should do better. He puts it well over the bar.
Just checking here to see if it looks like it'd be very close, but I think there's the worrying sign for Hearts is there's probably 3 or 4 players goal side. I'm not sure who's dropped early, but he's just kept everybody else on side, so that's a big worry. And like Alan said, I think that's sort of been Hearts' Achilles heel this season, is set plays and conceding from them.
And they've given away the ball in their own half, Hearts now, and here's Robert Silva dancing into the box, goes down the outside, gets the strike on goal, and Craig Gordon gets a toe on it by the look of it, just guided it off the target. Hearts just at 6s and 7s at the moment.
Yeah, living dangerously. It was Alan Forrest. He done well initially, then he plays a square pass, it's short and they're through. And I'd like to see that again, see if Craig Gordon did get a foot to it. But it's another chance for Copenhagen.
Craig Gordon earned his 100th clean sheet for Hearts at the weekend against Dundee, although there is some dubiety about that.
I was going to say that.
I think there's maybe one, was it against Falkirk, there was a 2-all and he got sent off, but he didn't concede while he was on the pitch or something. So I think there's a bit of
goalies take everything, don't they?
Bit of dubiety, but we'll say 99 or 100. They'll get to 100 at some point. Here come Copenhagen though down the right hand side. Dix with a low cross towards the penalty spot. El Yunusi right on the edge of the area, left-footed shot blocked and spins away from the Hearts penalty area. But Copenhagen really starting fast. You can see they've got intent because they know they really need to win tonight.
Yeah, you can just tell in this opening 10 minutes that they're a really good outfit. They're playing with a lot of confidence, and like we've said, I don't think Hearts have got out their half once in this opening 10 minutes.
El Yunusi whips one to the back post. It's a bit overhit. Oyagoki goes across, but he's beaten by Silva, who then puts it to the edge of the 6-yard box, and El Yunusi gets something on it. I'm not sure if he hit that off himself there. It was an awkward one, but Hearts guilty again of just being a bit lackadaisical.
So Oyagoki at the back, he just lets the player flick it over his head. Lovely skill, and gets to the byline. Devlin can't touch him as the ball comes in. Spittle manages to get it off El Yunusi and away for a by kick, but lovely piece of skill. It really was by Silva on that left-hand side.
He's a really good player, Robert Silva. He's on loan from Cruzeiro in Brazil. He's got the option to buy him. He's only 19 years old and he's been tearing it up. Not so much in terms of goals, but he just causes havoc with his pace. And just seen a replay of that Craig Gordon one. I think he did get something on that. So Hearts under pressure, but as it stands, 12 minutes on the clock in Copenhagen, and it is 0-0. Copenhagen have the ball. Dix midway through the Hearts half, plays inside. It's recycled to the halfway line. Hatziadakos plays it forward to Lopez. Lopez in field. William Clem slips it forward. Good run by Chiaka, and he tries to play it across goal, but it's too close to Craig Gordon at the near post, and the Hearts goalkeeper claims it.
Hearts are just living so dangerously. They've not even strung 2 or 3 passes together. I think there's been one time that they've done it with Penrice down the left-hand side, but if they keep playing like this, it's only a matter of time before Copenhagen score. So I think some of the senior players and some of the players that are playing out there today just need to get a foothold of the game, make some passes, and just try and work themselves in, because just right now they're just feeding off scraps, and Copenhagen are just passing straight through them.
Yeah, and Elyounoussi plays another one around the corner to Dix in the Copenhagen half. Alan, I'm just wondering, you know, I know Neil Critchley's played 4-4-2, really, 4-2-4, even at the weekend against Dundee, but I did wonder whether he might bring in another midfielder. I know Beningami's injured and didn't travel. As Copenhagen come forward here, I'll get your thoughts on that in a moment, but just wondered whether they might have gone 3 in midfield, Hearts. But here comes Lopez, the left back, really dangerous ball in, and Elyounoussi put a leg out but couldn't connect, and it goes behind for a goal kick, much to Hearts' relief.
Wow, great ball in. Is it Chiaka makes a run across the front? I think he goes across the front of Frankie Kent, or certainly across the front of Rose anyway. And Elyounoussi coming in the back post. It's a wonderful ball, and Craig Gordon can't come for it. Penrice actually does really well. He holds off Elyounoussi, and it goes away. But you know, you're right, Hearts are living dangerous. I'm with you, Thomas. I thought they might have put in another midfielder, but you know what he's done is he's given Vargas his place up front. Shanklin just off him, and he'll be hoping for that. But at the moment, as Ryan said, very, very dangerous. Hearts are living here. They're going to have to keep compact as much as they can. Just need them to keep the ball more. They're not stringing passes together at all. When they get it, they're just giving it immediately back.
And here is Copenhagen in possession again. As Hatziadakos finds Pereira, who had that header that he probably should have done better with, whether he was onside or not. We are unsure of. It would have been reviewed, of course, but Hearts being given the run around a bit by Copenhagen so far, as Elyounoussi drops in, gives it to the right back Dix, halfway up Hearts territory. Hearts win it though, and Spittle gets into Shanklin just over the halfway line. Shanklin bobbing and weaving, and he's done really well to hold on to the ball here, but he's got no support, but he has won a throw-in and gets Hearts up the pitch, which is exactly what they need. Again,
he's just so good in that. You know, he takes a difficult ball, it's a great first touch, he goes down the line, he's sort of running into a blind alley as such, and he flicks it off the player and just gives everybody a little bit of a chance to breathe. I think they've been under the pump for this opening 14 minutes, and just gets them up the pitch as well. So it's a really, really good play from Shanklin again.
Penrice prepares to take the throw-in. Hearts shooting towards the Copenhagen Ultras, section 12, who are making some racket and flying the flags behind the goal. And is that a
foul throw?
Foul throw there.
I've not seen one of them for years.
Yeah.
I didn't think they exist anymore.
It just slips out his hands.
Yeah, he looked aghast, James Penrice. He'll be getting stick for that one. How was it, a game recently where they called one? It's becoming back into fashion for referees to pull them up, and Hearts giving up a good position there with a bit of slackness from Penrice, but they have a throw in on the other side into Copenhagen's half. Oyegoke is ready to take. Hopefully this one's clean. Oyegoke waits for some movement, gets it, goes down the line, but it's Vargas who's not goal sides of his man, and they lose out, and it goes all the way back now to Craig Gordon. Craig Gordon on his 29th European appearance for Hearts, more than any other Hearts player. 42 years old at the end of the month. Remarkable. Here he is, chips it out of his box with the left foot towards Oyegoke, who goes up, loses out to Lopez, and now Copenhagen have it on the left touchline. Inside ball to Lopez, but it's blocked, and now Shanklin goes down, gets the free kick, and it's more brilliant work from Lawrence Shanklin.
Yeah, and good play by Devlin as well, nicking the ball, finding Lawrence Shanklin, and Shanklin, it's a foul, taken from the back. Just take his time, Lawrence getting himself up, buy a bit more time. Might have been a handball against Devlin, but he does well, looks forward, wins the pass, and that's a free kick against.
There's a bit of a nasty one there. Did kind of catch him on the foot. Shanklin is limping afterwards, so it could have been a yellow card, but the referee, Andrea Colombo of Italy, just to keep his cards in his pocket. It's pinged forward for Hearts towards Spittle. Comes off his back, but breaks for Copenhagen as El Yunusi controls and moves back towards his own box under pressure from Boateng, but is able to get it away to his centre half. But such a technically gifted player, Mohamed El Yunusi.
Seen him as a kid playing for his national team at Kilmarnock against Scotland. He was at Man City at the time. Brilliant he was, even as a young kid. And I've watched his career throughout. Magnificent player.
Yeah, 2 years at Celtic. Won the Scottish Cup against Hearts in that COVID final on penalties. As it's won by Boateng. Midfield for Hearts, up to the centre circle. It's played to Oyegoki at right back. Goes backwards to Frankie Kent. Kent across to Rolls, but the backwards passing is just inviting Copenhagen on, but that's composed from Penrice, and then Spittle, and then Boateng tries to fizz it up to Shanklin, but it's intercepted. Now it's Clem, and that's loose from Copenhagen though, and it's now with Vargas in the centre circle. Tries to go round the defender, but is tackled, and it's back with Copenhagen. You just sense Hearts, I know you can't just boot it up the park aimlessly. When you're under pressure it's difficult, but you feel like Hearts they're just not going to get time to pass it about. They're not, the centre halves.
They're not, and the worry with the centre midfield combination of Devlin and Boateng is they give you so much off the ball, but when you do have the ball, they just lack that little bit of, I don't want to say quality, but that little bit of just know-how of playing to the right side, and even just then Vargas gets it in the centre of the pitch. He's surrounded by players and he tries to nutmeg them. You know, Shanklin, that's the difference between, you know, getting to the top level and staying at borderline this level, is that your decision making in those moments is your job as a striker is just to keep the ball or win a foul or get yourself up to the pitch, and he's just tried to nutmeg and lost possession, and now they're back in their half defending.
19 minutes gone, Copenhagen 0, Hearts 0 in the Conference League. The Rangers against Spurs in the Europa League to come, live on Sports Sound as soon as we're done here, but Hearts come forward, and it's Vargas moving up towards the edge of the penalty area. Forrest has made a run, has it, left-hand side of the box, digs it across, blocked behind for a Hearts corner. And this is the most promising position Hearts have been in the opening 19 minutes.
Yeah, better play from Hearts. Really good play was Devlin again, breaking it up. Giving it to Vargas, he's waiting on Forrest coming on the overlap on the left-hand side. He gets there, takes a touch, runs down the line and wins him a corner. Good play.
Yeah, and Alan Forrest brings that, just one thing in his mind, try and go down the outside, and it came off Pereira and behind for a Hearts corner kick. Goalless as we approach the 20th minute mark. Spittle swings it in with the right boot, right on top of the goalkeeper, who gets a good contact on it, and he's got the free kick as well.
Keepers get away with everything.
Absolutely everything, don't they?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he's got the ball first, clearly the goalkeeper here. But I'm not sure that's a foul. Boateng's just challenging. Yeah, well, interesting selection by Jakob Nystrup, the Copenhagen head coach, because they've been playing Theo Sander, the 19-year-olds, for the last few games. But what the highlights I've watched, he's made quite a few errors, looked unconvincing from high balls and crosses, spilled a few as well. There was a horrible error in the Minsk game, or sorry, the Başakşehir game. There was a mix-up, so that they need to. They've obviously made the change, because I think Hearts would have definitely been targeting the goalkeeper as a weak spot, but it's been taken out of their hands because Jakob Nystrup has made the changes. Copenhagen get the free kick just inside the Hearts half.
Vargas needs to do better. He's giving the ball away too much. He needs to keep the ball.
Copenhagen go out to Dix on the right-hand side, and it's lovely little one-touch passing from El Yunusi, and it's out to the left-hand side for Copenhagen, and then Oyegoki is clattered by Robert. Hearts will get the free kick in. Well, after 15 minutes where they were really under the cosh, Hearts, and conceding chances, they have sort of steadied the ship in the last sort of 5 minutes without looking brilliant.
Yeah, they've not looked like they're going to score at any opportunity, but I think they've just been able to make those 3 or 4 passes and just sort of get themselves into the game. I think Copenhagen started really well. You know, they're pressing and getting in Hearts' faces and not allowing them to play those couple of passes, but you know, Shanklin's brought himself into the game. You know, like Alan said, I think Vargas has to do that a little bit more and just be a little bit cuter up front, but a much better sort of last 5-6 minutes from Hearts.
Craig Gordon plays it long for Hearts. Spittle heads it up to Forrest, who goes backwards to Penrice, and then is forced all the way back to Gordon again. On the edge of his box, Craig Gordon, who incidentally is older than the Copenhagen manager. Jakob Nystrup was only 36. Here is Oyegoki in field. Hearts passing it about at the back. Copenhagen getting right up there towards the edge of the Hearts box, and Gordon doesn't have an option but to go slightly longer towards Forrest, who's dropped in, but he is always going to struggle to win an aerial duel and does lose out. And then Copenhagen get the throw in. Shankland's busying himself up there. Massive for him to get those 2 goals against Dundee. 1 more goal in Europe, bring him level with John Robertson on 7 in Europe for Hearts, which is records, which I'm sure John Robertson would love to see.
No chance. You don't know him, Thomas, clearly.
Well, we shall see. He's not scored in Europe this season, Lawrence Shankland, just the 3 Premiership goals.
That's, you know what, that's an elbow on the side of his face.
Yeah, it's Gabriel Pereira on Shankland, and Shankland's having a little word with the referee, and I wonder if that'll be checked in the background. Well, it will be checked, but whether it will come to anything. Actually reminded me a bit of the one in the Spurs-Chelsea game on Sunday, if anyone saw that. Kulusevski catching the Chelsea player, Lavia, but it's just the Hearts free kick. Hearts get bodies forward, and Craig Gordon's going to take it, and he goes short at the halfway line to Penrice, who drives it into the box. Little flick away from Copenhagen, and El Yunusi plays it forwards, but Chiaka gets onto it, and he's quick, Chiaka, away from one, but it's a good recovery from James Penrice. Held his position well and made the tackle. Goes back to Gordon, who plays it out, not the most convincing. It will go out for a Hearts throw on the near side. 0-0.
Devlin and Penrice did well there. You know, the Copenhagen boy was sort of coming down the line, and you know, when you are having an attacking ball and you're throwing it in the box, you need your 2 players that are sort of dropping deep to make sure that they don't allow that striker to do, you know, run in behind and catch them on the counter attack. So they both did really well there.
James Penrice, the standout player arguably for Hearts this season, the left back. Thrown down the line by Penrice, flicked up in the air by Copenhagen, cleared towards the halfway line, but it's one in the air. It's all scrappy in the middle of the pitch, and Hearts will get the throw in here in front of the dugouts.
First quarter of the match come and gone. Hearts still 0-0. It's been a difficult 24 minutes, Thomas, but they're defending manfully at the moment. Just need to do better when they have the ball.
They're trying to here as Kent and Devlin, and now Rolls combine. Rolls plays it forward, skims off the top of Alan Forrest's head, and will go away for Pereira to chase and collect. Hearts would have taken 0-0 at this stage of the game, kind of building their way slowly into it after being really on the ropes in the opening sort of 12-15 minutes. Copenhagen go long here, and it's a poor ball, bounces on the edge of the Hearts box and into the arms of Craig Gordon in the penalty area.
Although Copenhagen have had a lot of the ball, Craig Gordon's not been called upon so far.
Yeah, well, they look lively in the opening 15 minutes, as I said, getting bodies into the box, but they've not managed to work anything. And Copenhagen, although they're unbeaten in 12 matches and won 4 in a row, I think the results have probably maybe flattered them too strong, but they've not been as convincing domestically, certainly, as they have been in previous years. Here's Dix, goes back to Pereira. Pereira forwards, and that's a good ball for El Yunusi. Takes on the half-turn, driving towards the edge of the Hearts box, and now it's into the area. Strike from Klassen, and then it's tapped towards the goal, and it comes off the crossbar. El Yunusi.
I think, does Penrice get that?
Yeah, I think he tackles it onto the boy.
Penrice went sliding in. El Yunusi was there, hoping for the tap-in, but it crashed off Craig Gordon's crossbar. It stays out, and it stays 0-0, crucially, from a Hearts point of view. Well, that could have gone anywhere. Copenhagen still have it. Lopez for Silva. Lopez, the left back, in line with the edge of the Hearts box, goes backwards though to Delaney, and then it's square now for centre back Pereira. Graphic flashes up. 6 attempts from Copenhagen, none from Hearts in the opening 26, nearly 27 minutes. as Copenhagen look to reassert a bit of control in this game, but Hearts do well to force it all the way back to the goalkeeper, Trott. He goes long. Silva's made a run, but Oyagoke wins the header first. Bounces, collected by Lopez. He's dispossessed though by Vargas, who came from his blind side and prodded it away, and then the free kick is given away by Cammy Devlin. I think we're going to see a little replay of this one off the crossbar, Ryan McGowan. It's actually a good challenge from Penrice, I think.
Well, it's hard to tell, but he's definitely put him off. You can't exactly, I'm just trying to have a look. Yeah, I do think he gets a touch. He's basically got an open goal, and Penrice comes from his blind side and just gets a toe onto it, and it's made the Copenhagen boy hit it off the crossbar. But I think the worrying thing is it's a centre-back playing a straight ball through to the striker who can then turn and get at the back four. So I think Hearts will be worried about that, and it's something that they're going to have to sort of work out between now and half-time.
Well, whether that was a horrible miss or some great defending, still not entirely sure, but either way, stayed out via the crossbar, and it means it's Copenhagen 0, Hearts 0 after 28 minutes in the Conference League on Sportsound. First of two live commentaries here on BBC Radio Scotland Extra. We'll be at Ibrox after this one. Massive game, Rangers against Spurs. Here's Lopez, left back area for Copenhagen, goes across to the right centre back, Gabriel Pereira. Now Dix, the defender who takes the penalties for Copenhagen, missed his first one the weekend in the cup win, scored against Kilmarnock. Here, when Derek McInnes was absolutely fuming that his team were penalised, and it's played forward down the right hand side of the Hearts box. El Yunusi gets there, his cross is blocked, and then the header goes behind, and I think the corner is signalled for by the referee. So Copenhagen getting a bit of joy with those balls down the side of Hearts at the moment. And it was Kai Rolls who was pulled across to make the initial block. Corner to Copenhagen, who desperately, or want to desperately make the breakthrough. 1 point behind Hearts in the standings at the moment, Conference League.
Once this is hopefully cleared, I'd like to ask Ryan, zonal, I don't think Hearts are big enough to go zonal.
Corner comes in from El Yunusi. It's won at the near post by Lauren Shankland. Comes back out to El Yunusi on this near side. His cross is blocked again by Shankland, who only gets it half clear to the right corner of the box. Good challenge though. That is from Cammy Devlin. And then he goes down and gets the free kick. And I think that's excellent play from Hearts midfielder.
Yeah, I watch Hearts at set place corners, and they mark zonally, and I've always been a believer, Ryan, that they need to do zonal marking. You need 5, 6, maybe 7, 6 foot plus. Hearts don't have that, and that's my worry. Sometimes the ball's away from Kent, who's probably their best header of the ball. Rolls, if you drop it short or put over the top of them, they're not going to be able to attack it. So I would prefer if they go and just designate a man.
Yep.
You go and pick up your man and you go and win your area.
Yeah, but there's a few different sort of schools of thought on that. At Livingston we do this sort of hybrid. We have 3 of us who go and attack it and the rest pick up. So maybe 3 or 4 pick up, and then the 3 of us, our responsibility is to basically just go and win the ball. I think sometimes when you do zonal, it can be an easy option for players just to be like, that's not in my zone, so I'm not going to go attack it. So I think kind of the hybrid system is probably the best one to do. You have sort of 2 or 3 players who don't have to worry about marking anyone, they can just go and attack it. And if you are going to do that, I think, like we said, Hauke is such an important player for Hearts when he's fit, because he probably is the best one that just goes and attacks the ball.
Hearts get a free kick in their own box as Oyagoke was under pressure. Jakob Næstrup, the Copenhagen head coach, walking back to his technical area, just 36 years old, was a player through the academy at Copenhagen, got injured in his early 20s and had to retire, and turned to coaching, and has made a decent success of it since coming in the season before last. Managed to win the title, and then last 16 of the Champions League last season. The task is to win back the league this campaign and progress in the Conference League. Copenhagen with a free kick, and here is Hatzidakos, left centre back, plays it up towards the halfway line. It's chipped forward by Lopez, looking for Chiaka, who controls it on the chest, but it's good defending from Kai Rolls, who gets across, and then it bounces awkwardly, and then an overhead kick forward for Copenhagen, headed by Oyagoke, flipped forward by Devlin, and Copenhagen go back towards their keeper Nathan Trott, the Englishman, who controls and rolls it out to his defenders, but Hearts would be pretty content if things could stay the way they are until half-time, but it's played forward. Copenhagen player goes down. It's Chiaka looking at the referee. He's determined that was a penalty. He's stunned, but the referee waves it away and points for the goal kick. And VAR will double-check it. But Hearts survive for now.
Nah, no chance. I think the referee's got a good view on it as well. He's, what, 10, 15 yards behind it. Kent just comes in, just out-muscles him. It's not a penalty kick for me.
And the check is over. The Italian referee says play on, and it's a good call from the referee, because it's a bit of an awkward one to call when everyone's running at full stretch and a player goes down under contact like that. You've seen them given now. Frankie Kent, after that challenge, is
This looks like the same injury as he had against Aberdeen. His left thigh.
Well, that would be a concern, because obviously there's no Craig Halkett on the bench.
That would be the same again, which would be Oyagoke into centre half and Forrester on it right back.
Indeed.
It definitely looks like he's not happy with something, and looks a little bit frustrated. And I think you heard from the manager earlier in terms of, he has been training, and sometimes players do come into games carrying a little bit of a knock, and he's probably sprinted back there and he might have felt something, but it'll be interesting to see if he continues or not, because he does look in a little bit of discomfort
He's
at the
getting
moment.
treatment, Ryan, but let me ask you, do you ever train or play 100%? No one does. You've got a niggle.
I've not felt 100% since about 2004.
Correct, exactly. Everyone gets up and gets on with it. You don't. You've either got a knock, don't feel well. You've got whatever. He's done. He is done.
Yeah, he's not looking.
You can see Neil Critch has given instructions to Daniel Oyagoke here. At least they've had the dress rehearsal from having to reshuffle this against Aberdeen a few weeks ago, and it worked out pretty well for them. Came away with a point in the end. Frankie Kent. The concern would obviously be with games coming up. Hearts urgently need points in the league. You've got Halkett, who's clearly not 100%, left out as a precaution tonight. Kingsley's obviously out long term. It's not what the manager needs right now.
No, it's not, and that's where I think the January window will be critical for Hearts. I think they need to bring in another centre half because of this. Frankie Kent, this looks like a reoccurrence of the injury, and in fact it probably looks worse than the one he picked up against Aberdeen when he had to go off.
Yeah, well, you and I were there that day, Alan, and he didn't look like he was moving too badly, but he's really struggling to put any weight on his leg there as he limps off, and Adam Forrester has come on, so Oyagoke into centre half, Forrester at right back, and Forrester's walking a wee bit of a tightrope as well, because if he gets booked tonight, then he'll miss next week's game against Petrocub. So Hearts,
that's next week's problem.
Well,
Deal with it now.
I've actually been really impressed with him so far. Anytime I've seen him, I think he's really athletic. I think he's good on the ball. I think he brings a lot of energy to that right-hand side, similar to Penrice. And yeah, I don't really see as much as Kent is a big miss. I think possibly from an attacking threat, you'll probably get more out of Forrester on the right-hand side. So it could turn out to be a little bit of a masterstroke, hopefully, for Hearts.
I would like to see Kent and Halkett, the two centre halves.
Yeah.
At times, I really would.
I think the issue is trying to keep them both fit.
Yeah.
forward from Lopez up to Silva for Copenhagen, just in Hearts half, but they're forced to pass it backwards. Hatsidiakos, the Greek international, goes to his centre-half partner. Forward to El Yunusi, who can't control just over the halfway line, runs through. And Oyagoke passes it to Penrice, takes a touch, goes down. He was kicked there by Chiaka. And Penrice gets the free kick. 6 minutes to the break, plus we'll get a couple of minutes added time at the end after that Frankie Kent injury. Is still goalless, which is a result for Hearts. Frankie Kent was really struggling. We saw a couple of shots of him, the two physios trying to help him to the changing room, and he was really struggling to walk at all. So
I think with the injury to Kingsley anyway, they were going to have to go into the market for a centre half or a defender anyway that can possibly play across the line.
Still got 5 games to come to end this year, though. That's the problem. such a busy time of year, especially with the European commitments. But here is Lopez in his own half for Copenhagen. 37 played, it's still goalless at the Parken Stadium in the Danish capital. Hearts had to ride an early storm from Copenhagen, but they've seen that period off, and other than that one off the bar, which we think Penrice got a toe on as El Yunusi was waiting to tap in, they've not been under too much pressure in terms of goalmouth action. It's cleared long up towards Shanklin, who backs in and then turns. He's just so clever judging the flight of the ball, and then it's cannons off Vargas and breaks for Shanklin, tries to return it first time to Vargas, who can't get there, and it's defended by Hatzidakos.
I think he's got to take a touch. He wants rid of it too quickly there, Lon Shanklin. If he takes another touch, it just opens up for him to roll Vargas in.
Yeah, it feels like the kind of thing players do when they've not had much of the ball in a game.
Yeah, a yellow card for Boateng.
Yeah, there it is, brandished by Andrea Colombo. Boateng late on Thomas Delaney. It's a bit of a kick to the shin, so he'll have to be careful now for the rest of the game. Hearts have been relatively solid in the last 20 minutes. Can they get to half-time? They've had to rejig their back line, Frankie Kent going off, and if they can just get to the break.
Yeah, I think if they can get to the break after the first 12 minutes, I think everyone would have taken 0-0 at half-time, and just, you know, there's been little tiny signs. I'm probably looking for positives here from a Hearts perspective, but just there's a few little flashes of them getting up the pitch a little bit better, a few sort of half opportunities. Shanklin's just had one there where, you know, it was borderline a 3v2 in Hearts' favour, and he's just picked the wrong option. So defensively they need to keep it out and get to half-time at 0-0 and then reassess from there.
Here come Copenhagen though, Lopez into the box, but it's not gathered by Chiaka, and it runs through to Craig Gordon, who can pick it up. I'm wondering whether we might see Andreas Cornelius at half-time from a Copenhagen point of view. He's a big physical striker who would usually start. Chiaka, 18 years old, Nigeria international, recently made his debut. Scored a couple against Spasak's here, but not as much experience or nous in that position. As Copenhagen break forward, pass isn't a good one for El Yunusi. Copenhagen have it back. Gabriel Pereira, the centre-back, to Dix, who chips it all the way back to Hatzidakos, who has to go back to his goalkeeper trot.
You know what, the Heart shape's really good as well. They're working tirelessly. They might not have a lot of the ball, but you know, you can see their shape off out of possession. They're working so hard.
They are indeed. You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland's first of two live commentaries, European football. Hearts goalless with Copenhagen in Denmark, 40 minutes on the clock. Rangers against Spurs to come in the Europa League. And all three Scottish teams, you have to say, in European football this season in their revamped formats, all in good positions to qualify for the knockout stages. But here come Copenhagen. Dix with a low cross, breaks to the edge of the area, and Copenhagen want a free kick, not going to get it. Here's William Clem, the midfielder, knocks it to Lopez, left back, who's popping up in midfield a lot. Out to Silva, Robert Silva on the left-hand side, low cross. Gordon has to go down and use the leg again to get it away, out for a throw-in on the far side.
I don't know if that's Gordon or Oyegoke that gets there and clears it, but dangerous play. Forrester's got to get tighter.
Yeah, Silva, Robert Silva looks like the one that might make things happen out of nothing for Copenhagen.
They look dangerous down that left-hand side, and albeit Forrester's got beat there for the sort of cross in the box, he's then done well in robbing the boy out on that left-hand side. But yeah, that sort of, it definitely looks like their sort of preferred attacking option down their left and Hearts' right.
And Oyegoke's having to fend off Chiaka as Copenhagen launched the ball in behind. It's only cleared though as far as Lopez. Now Delaney. Lopez for Clem. Clem turns backwards. Good defence from Hearts as it's forced back to the Copenhagen centre-halves around the halfway line. Clem takes it, the Denmark under-21 international, out to the left-hand side, cross comes in. El Yunusi can't get there, it breaks back for the Norwegian. Little back heel, brilliant, Klassen, little flick, Silva's lurking, shot blocked, and it spins away. Hearts living on the edge. Dix has it, right-hand side of the box, trying to get to the byline, squeeze it to Elyounoussi. That's an excellent challenge from Blair Spittle in the penalty area. And now Hearts can counter. Penrice, it's Forrest down the left-hand side, and then the tackle comes in out for a throw-in.
I think it's a brilliant block by Devlin. I'd like to see it again. I think he gets himself in there and gets the block in. Gets a foot on it and away it goes, just as he's about to pull the trigger.
I think it's good defending from Hearts, but I think Copenhagen will be, disappointed in it. It felt like they were just taking that extra touch, that extra pass when they should have tried to get their shot away. But from a Hearts perspective, this half they've defended really, really well. Defended their box. Anything that's come in, they've done well. But you do not want to give teams like Copenhagen too many of those opportunities, because they're good enough players that they will eventually take one. But all credit to Hearts. I think they've defended really well this first half.
I always feel as though Cammy Devlin, if he wasn't 5'5", would be a good centre half. He's so good at tackling, blocks in.
Maybe a good boxer as well, just and everybody.
Here come Copenhagen though down the left-hand side again. Back to Lopez, and his pass is in front of the teammate, and Hearts will look to break through Spittle. Played forward to Shankland. His own half, goes back to Oyegoke. Minute and a half left of the first half, not including stoppage time. We presume there'll be a couple of minutes for Frankie Kent's injury. Here's Oyegoke at the back, plays it to Forrester, and then it's out to the right-hand side. It's given away, back to Oyegoke, I beg your pardon, who has to get rid of it. And then it's flicked on by Vargas to Shankland on the halfway line. Shankland forced to go backwards towards his own goal, but again he keeps possession.
This has been the best part of Hearts so far. They've kept possession, about 15-20 passes here, up to Shankland again. He keeps the ball, back Spittle, just keep the ball.
You can hear the whistles as well.
Yeah.
I think they've probably tripled their pass completion in the last 2 minutes than they have with the whole first half.
Yeah, and I mentioned Copenhagen haven't been entirely convincing this season despite some good results recently, and I think that is reflected in how the home fans feel about the team at the moment. Only 30,000 in the crowd tonight, or thereabouts, not capacity, about 8,000 empty seats. So if Hearts can continue to frustrate, and it becomes a bit more of an awkward atmosphere for the home side to deal with as we tick towards the break. It remains goalless in the Danish capital in the Conference League. Hearts holding firm for now, but here come Copenhagen, played into the box, strike comes in, and it's well over the crossbar into the stands where the Hearts fans are housed. It was Klassen with a strike. Remains 0-0.
Nearly there for Hearts. It's been a very back to the wall performance so far, but so far so good. They've been difficult to break down. Hearts kept a good shape, good discipline about them. Obviously they'll be gutted about Frankie Kent.
Just the 1 minute added at the end of the 45, and Hearts will go down the tunnel. Pretty pleased with their opening period's work, if they can keep it scoreless.
I think this is the most animated I've seen Neil Critchley since he's taken over the job. He's shouting, barking orders out there, trying to keep the team, to keep their discipline, keep their shape, and they'll make mistakes, Copenhagen.
And they have done there, giving away the ball. Shankland flicks it to Forrest in the centre circle. Forrest driving forward. Vargas has made an overlapping run. He gives it to Vargas, left-hand side. Tries to go round Robert Silva's.
Stewart's comments. Must have heard Mikey Stewart's comments about not being a big enough personality, so that's why he's shouting on the side of the pitch.
Everyone's a small personality compared to Mikey Stewart.
You're not wrong.
Penrice goes down the left-hand side. Lovely footwork to keep hold of the ball, and then a little barrel round from Forrest, but it goes behind for a goal kick, and there is the half-time whistle, and Hearts will be pretty content with that opening 46 minutes, especially after what unfolded in the opening 12, where they were really under the cosh. A couple of chances for Copenhagen, a Pereira header, which he should have done better with, totally free in the box. Gordon had to stab one away with his toe. And then James Penrice, we think, got a brilliant touch as the ball came towards Mohamed Elyounoussi in the 6-yard box. Made the challenge, it crashed off Craig Gordon's crossbar and stayed out. Hearts with no real chances up the other end, but a point in this game would be massive for them, heading into their final game at home to Petro Cub next week. So far, so good in Denmark for Hearts. At half-time in the Conference League, it is FC Copenhagen 0, Heart of Midlothian 0.
Copenhagen versus Hearts.
Absolutely blistering finish.
Hearts in the UEFA Conference League.
Goal! What a goal!
This is Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland. The Scottish League Cup final lives here this weekend.
Huge scenes of celebration away to our left here at the National Stadium.
Rangers are looking to retain the trophy.
Their hopes and dreams of keeping hold of the League Cup go on.
But Celtic, who were rampant in reaching the final, stand in their way.
Celtic are the brilliant best tonight, thumping Aberdeen.
It's the Scottish League Cup final. Celtic
Kyogo will score!
versus Rangers.
And Rangers have turned it around!
Sunday afternoon on BBC Radio Scotland and Sounds.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland, a double helping of European action for you this evening. Half-time in Copenhagen. Copenhagen 0, Hearts 0 in the Conference League. So far, so good for Neil Critchley's side. I'm at Ibrox, 8 o'clock start here in the Europa League. Rangers at home to Tottenham Hotspur. We'll try and get the team news for you before we return to second half commentary from the game in Copenhagen. We'll hear the thoughts of Stephen Thompson. He's joined me here on the gantry here at Ibrox Park. Let's then get the thoughts at half-time of Ryan McGowan and Alan Preston. Alan, happy with what you've seen so far from your team?
Yeah, been back to the wall, Kenny, but a really good defensive performance so far. Well, really disciplined, good shape about Hearts as well. It's been difficult, not had a lot of the ball, 36% possession Hearts have had, but Copenhagen have only had 2 attempts on target, you know, and long may that continue. You can see they're a class side. They may be short in confidence a little bit, you know, but I think the road to luck, I think I'm going to give Penrice credit for putting El Yunusi off for the shot that hit the bar. But apart from that, Craig Gordon's not had to make save after save after save. Hearts have not really been in it as an attacking threat. Need to do better when they have the ball. Can they try and keep it? The last couple of minutes of the first period, they kept it for the best period in that opening 46 minutes that they played. They need to do more of that. But real disappointment is Frankie Kent going off, because he's such a big player for Hearts defensively. He's now off. Ayagoki's in at centre half, a young Forrester's on. But big 45 minutes, half a job done so far.
What's worked for Hearts in that first half, Ryan?
Defending. Everything off the ball, I think, has been pretty good from Hearts. I think the two in the midfield, in terms of Boateng and Devlin, have been really, really good off the ball. But, you know, to play at European level and to get anything out of this game, they're going to have to keep the ball. And I think that's where Hearts have struggled. When they have got the ball, they've not been able to string 2 or 3 passes together and just sort of beat that Copenhagen initial press. And when they have done that, they've, wouldn't say created chances, but they've definitely got themselves up the pitch. So I think that will sort of be the main thing that's spoken about at half-time, is that, you know, when they do win the ball and do sort of you know, rob their players of possession, is to have that little bit of composure and pick the right pass and get themselves up the pitch and not just be continually defending.
Full second half commentary to come from the Conference League. At half-time, Copenhagen 0, Hearts 0. 8 o'clock start here at Ibrox in the Europa League this evening. Stephen Thompson is alongside me on the gantry here. You can just feel the buzz, Stephen. Even just the media presence here tonight, it's incredible.
Yeah, and the traffic coming in, I would add to that.
Yeah.
It wasn't ideal, but yeah, I mean, clearly there's an interest in the game. Scotland v England, Battle of Britain, call it what you want. It's a massive game this evening here at Ibrox. You've obviously got the Ange factor to throw in as well, which I don't think, I mean, you know, the press have made a lot of it, but I doubt Ange Postecoglou is the slightest bit bothered. He doesn't seem bothered about much. He's got bigger fish to fry and a lot more on his plate than worrying about getting a wee bit of stick here at Ibrox.
Yeah, he was out in the park just 5 minutes ago. He had a wee chat down pitch side with Alan Hutton. He looked totally and utterly calm, didn't he? Nothing really bothers Ange Postecoglou. He, as you say, has got a lot on his plate down south, but he's been handling that fairly well. We saw the interaction he had with some of the supporters just last week in the Premier League down in England. As for this game here tonight, I think it's going to be interesting. Hope they'll get it in a few minutes' time, Stephen. The team news, what are you expecting from Rangers?
Well, clearly Danilo and Hadji not available for the squad. Hadji's been an important figure in the last 3 games. Rangers have obviously won 4 in a row. Hadji coming back into the team. They've kept 3 clean sheets as well. They've looked a wee bit more dynamic. They've looked to have a variation in their attacking play, which is one thing that you would criticise them for, being a wee bit predictable at times in their build-up. In the last 3 games, we've seen signs that they've been a wee bit more fluid in that. So those 2 players coming out of the team, obviously then you would point towards either Dessler starting or Egeman playing up front as the lone striker, as he did in Nice to great effect. So that's in a forward area. Defensively, you're probably looking at Tavernier. Will he play him here or will he play him on Sunday? Will he play both? Now, I mean, he's been out the team. He came back in the last couple of games and looked a lot more like himself, certainly at the weekend there. His goal was a fabulous goal. But does he think that he's got it in him to play 2 games in a row? Will he play Sunday, obviously, because of Maeda as well? He doesn't have a great history playing against Maeda. And then at centre-half, for me, Balogun, Suter's been excellent, but for me, Balogun's by far and away his best partner. But Proper has been playing in the European games of late. So does he play Proper because he doesn't think that Balogun can do the 2 games in a row? These are the kind of points that I think are interesting. I think that he'll go with the 2 sitting midfielders here, even though in the game against Kilmarnock at home here in the last home game, they just played the 1 sitter and it worked for them. I think tonight's a different proposition against an altogether higher quality of team. It's a massive step up playing against a Premier League club who have got defensive problems of their own, but middle to front are still an incredible force.
And that's got to be the issue if he is considering playing Robin Proper, because he has not shown so far as a Rangers player. He seems to have struggled to adapt to the game up here. It's just not really happened for him. But as you say, Balogun, he's been terrific, but could he do 2 games in the space of a week? Because Sunday is huge for Philippe Clement, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I don't know what you prioritise if you're Philippe Clement. Obviously, Rangers have put themselves in a strong position in the Europa League, and some fabulous results and arguably some of their best performances so far this season have come in this tournament. What they don't want to happen is to have another repeat of the last time an English team were here 2 years ago, because that was a horrendous night for everybody connected with the club. I don't think this Tottenham team are at the same calibre as that Liverpool team were, but I also think that the Rangers team at that point was stronger than the Rangers team is just now. So that's something you want to avoid, especially with Sunday on the horizon. I think Sunday's the bigger game. I mean, you know, it's the first silverware of the season, and clearly against Celtic, I think most supporters would prioritise that over a win tonight. But anything that Rangers can get tonight, if they can, is a huge bonus, because, as I said, they're in a really good position in the Europa League.
8 o'clock kick-off here at Ibrox. We'll hear from Ange Postecoglou. We'll hear from Philippe Clement after the game in Copenhagen is done and dusted. So much at stake here this evening. There is a real buzz around this stadium. 2,500 travelling fans expected. It should be an absolute belter. I think it's fair to say goals guaranteed in this one. No goals so far in Denmark, and that's great for your former club, Alan Preston. It's quite interesting to hear you say there how animated Neil Critchley has been in the touchline, because if he can get something here tonight, takes the pressure off next Thursday evening on the back of that really good performance at home in the league at the weekend, you could perhaps just feel that things are starting to turn for Hearts.
Yeah, you'd like to think so, Kenny, but when just looking at Petro Cup, I think they're drawing 0-0 with Real Betis just now, so they're not going to be any pushover. But I've always thought it would come to that game. But Hearts can defend as they've done so far, ride their luck a little bit. Obviously the Penrice one, well, you said it hits the bar as a stroke of luck, but they've defended well. The point is there for them. It's going to take the same kind of performance, back to the wall, not going to have a lot of possession. Just make sure you're disciplined, keep your shape, and try and see this through. It would be a brilliant, absolutely brilliant point if Hearts can get it, but a long, long way to go.
Penrice, Ryan, is one that the guys speak a lot about on Sports, and you touched on him before the game this evening, just how well he has done with the step up. Talk to us, Ryan, about the qualities that he has, because you feel perhaps he could go on to an even better level after Hearts.
Yeah, I think he's just been outstanding. Everything that I'm hearing from the club is that he's just got everything. The right attitude. He's got all the attributes to go and make that next step up as such. But I think the biggest thing is he just plays with a little bit of a calmness. He is all action. He's up and down the left-hand side. He's tackling. He's putting crosses in. But when he does have the ball, he just has that little bit of composure, which a lot of the Hearts players are probably lacking a little bit tonight in terms of maybe just taking that extra touch, knowing when to play one touch, knowing when to take two. You know, those types of decisions are so important when you get to or play at a high level like they are tonight. So, yeah, just everything about him is, you know, first and foremost, he's a defender, and he gets himself, even tonight, he's got himself into some great defensive positions. But then going forward, you know, 9 times out of 10, he makes the right decision. He knows when to put a cross in, he knows when to come back out, and yeah, I think he's definitely been the pick of the summer signings for Hearts.
Andrew McKinley was saying last week, Alan, they've identified some strikers that they'll be looking at to sign in January through the analytics company. Which other areas of the team do you think they need to be seriously looking at?
Centre half now as well that can possibly play right back. You know, and I would think a left centre half, because Kingsley's out. You need a bit of cover for Penrice. It's all right if Ayagoki's out, Forrester can come in. If Penrice is out now, there's no one really can go and play left back. Rose can do that at a push, but with Kingsley being out, with Kent looking like he's going to be out for a number of weeks now as well, they're really down to the bare bones defensively. So I think centre half who can play left back, or a left back to cover Penrice, has got to be the priority now, along with what they should have done in the summer, 1 if not 2 strikers.
Would you guys agree, if I was to ask you to pick, with everyone fit and available, your best back four for Hearts right now?
Yeah.
Oh. Right, Al, you kick us off to see if Ryan can jump in.
I'm not a lover of the right backs. Forrester's done well for a young kid. Ayagoki, I think, is a centre half playing right back. Taylor has got 3 own goals, started the house on fire, but has been poor since. So I still think they need a right back. So I'm struggling to get a right back. I would go with Ayagoki just because of his size and presence, but Forrester's done well for a young kid. Halkett and Kent I'd like to see as the centre halves, and Penrice as a shoe-in.
Ryan?
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I do think a right back's been an issue for a long time. I think they need to get somebody similar to Penrice. I know that's obviously going to be hard to get, but you know, I just think for a long time they've kind of struggled with that. Probably Michael Smith was the closest that they could get to a consistent performer. You know, you want your fullbacks to be almost the first names on the team sheet. You wanted to know that you can get 6, 7 out of 10 every single week, and that sort of settles the whole back four if you're playing regularly and keeping clean sheets. I think there was a stat at the start of the show which is that they've only kept 1 clean sheet in 14 games, and that's not good enough. You're not going to win games of football, let alone if Shankland's not scoring, if you're conceding and having to score 2 or 3 goals every week. So I think that will be a real key area, especially tonight. Again, if they've got the issues with Kent and Kingsley's, I reckon they'll probably be looking to try and bring in 2 defenders, and 2 defenders that will be able to play, you know, 80-90% of matches between now and the end of the season.
And regardless, Alan, of who they do manage to bring in January, you'd be fairly confident that come the split, Hearts will be in the top 6?
I hope so. That's more than hope than certainty, Kenny. I hope so. I think January is going to be crucial for them. I think there could be players leaving as well. We see, you know, Barry Mackay's not getting game time, Boyce is not getting game time, and if they don't play between now and the end of the season, they might find it difficult to get a club in the summer. So they'll want to maybe go in January, maybe get some games under their belt. Then you'll see the younger boys coming through, James Wilson and guys like that. But Hearts need to get points, and get points quickly. And then we've still got the Lawrence Shankland saga, which has been going on. You know, journalists have been having him at Rangers for the past 5 windows. Will he go there in the summer? He won't sign a deal with Hearts. I agree with what Michael said on Saturday. I think they should try and put another deal on the table. I don't think it'll be the level it was, but I think they should try and open up negotiations with him to try and keep him.
Do you think the club pulled up their hand now, Alan? Hearts, with Shankland? Because that deal, I think, was it a record-breaking deal for the club? That's off the table.
I would think record-breaking since Ann Budge come in. I wouldn't have thought that under, like, say, Romanoff and guys like that, where they're playing ridiculous money. But I certainly think since the new regime's come in and Hearts have come out of administration, that would be probably, the biggest deal in the club since then. But it's been difficult. It has been, and I'd said to you, Kenny, you kept asking me what do you think, how this will play out, and I said to you, I think he'll see his contract out. I said that a year ago. Yep. And that's going to be the case now. But I still think that Hearts should try and have an attempt at trying to keep him. Whether he accepts it or not, probably not, but have a go at it. You know, give him a deal. Probably won't be at the level that it was, but offer him a deal.
Right, we shall see what happens there. Off to my left-hand side, our match commentator here at Ibrox, Lee McLeod, is frantically refreshing his computer screen. I know the teams are just coming out in Copenhagen. Liam, have we got the Rangers team news briefly?
Yeah, trying to get my head round it, to be honest with you. Of course, you can't put Hadji or Danilo in, who've been brilliant for them. They've not registered for Europe. So Butland is in goal. Try and sort this out if you can. Tavernier, Yilmaz and Jeffrey are all playing. Proper, Suter, Diamonde, Bayrami, Czerny, Igeman and Raskin. So that is the Rangers starting 11. Former Celtic goalkeeper Fraser Forster will keep goal for Spurs. Of course, he's played here many times before. James Maddison in from the start. The captain's son, who we know is a class act. Timo Werner is into the side as well. The young Welshman Johnson, who's been setting things on fire this season. He's their top scorer. Plays as a return for the Uruguayan Bentancur as well, who's been out injured. Pedro Porro, the Spanish fullback as well. Dragusin looks like he's going to go in beside Archie Gray, the England youth international as well. More on that after the Hearts game.
Yeah, should be an absolute belter. Let's get back to our guys. Let's hope Hearts get
Thanks, Kenny. Thanks, Kenny. We just kicked off here in the second half. Hearts with half a job done. Defensively solid, working ever so hard, and they've got another 45 minutes ahead to try and see out. And can they get better quality on the ball? It's now 6 halves of football without scoring in this competition, having gone 2-0 up against Ammonia in the first half and didn't score in the second half of that game, and then failing to score against Heidenheim and Bruges. As Vargas goes down looking for a free kick in his own half, he's not going to get it, and Copenhagen can break forward. Delaney, left-hand side of the Hearts box, moves infield, gives it across to Clem, his central midfield partner, and El Yunusi out to the right-hand side. Backwards now to Pereira, and then forward to El Yunusi, back to goal. And Hearts have managed to get back into shape and snuff out that Copenhagen counter.
But that was really poor play again by Vargas. Someone should sit him down and say, just watch Lon Shanklin for 45 minutes. Watch what he does when the ball's played up.
You think playing next to him he might have learned a few tricks, but yeah, his decision making is really letting him down, especially tonight. I think he's picking the wrong option. He's trying to beat players when he should be looking to get a foul. He's trying to pass it when he should, try and take them on. Just these little things that make such a difference at this level, and at the end of the day, determine whether you can go to the next level. Because if you're continually making the wrong choices and making the wrong decisions, then you're not going to make it that very far.
Yeah, just the 2 goals in 23 appearances for Kenneth Vargas this season. Got 9 goals last season, but he only got 2 of those 9 were against top 6 sides in the Scottish Premiership. So he's tended to score a lot of goals against sides who are struggling more. Needs to step up for Hearts as Copenhagen come forward. It's Robert, edge of the box, stab forward. Yunusi cannons off him and spins away, but it will be picked up by Pereira. Now it's Kevin Dix, edge of the box, and he's gone all the way into the Hearts penalty area and then offloads it to Mohamed El Yunusi. Brilliant save, Craig Gordon, and it's turned into the back of the net, and Hearts are behind. Chiaka goes away in celebration, and all Hearts, good work in the opening 45 minutes has been undone in the opening 3 of this second period. Too easy for Dix to get into the area, and Copenhagen work the opportunity, and this time they take advantage. It is FC Copenhagen 1, Hearts 0.
It is just such a soft goal for Hearts to concede. They basically let the player wander in. He's not even done a trick. He gets the ball probably 40 yards out on the right-hand side, and literally no one's pressing him. I think it's Penrice that comes out. He just sidesteps him and then slips the ball through to the striker. It's a great first or initial save from Craig Gordon, and I think it comes off his body and it just goes straight into the path of the Copenhagen striker, and he's got a tap in. But I think that is just so disappointing after the way they defended in the first half for that 46 minutes to concede 3 minutes into the second half, and such a poor goal will be mightily disappointing for the.
A cheap goal. It looked offside to me. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, they're checking it now and being told that could well be offside. So
but you're right. He runs through unchallenged. It was poor from Penrice. We've given him so much praise, but he goes by him as if he's not there in the box. And then the initial shot's well saved by Craig Gordon. But this is going to be tight.
Yeah, it's been checked. Luca Pieretto of Italy is the VAR this evening, and his fellow countryman Andrea Colombo has his hand to his ear as he awaits the verdict from the VAR. And our Hearts about to get a reprieve after giving up what looked like a very soft goal, having defended so well for the first half and having their good work unpicked by Copenhagen.
It must be tight considering the length of time this is taken.
Yeah, and it's...
But it's listen, it's either on, it's factual, or you know, it's either onside or it's not. But it must be really, really tight. My initial thought was he was offside, but the ball's moving. It's a goal.
And the goal is given. And Amin Chiaka screams into the Copenhagen sky, celebrates his third of the Conference League campaign. And it's all done by Kevin Dix, the right back, waltzing into the Hearts box, lays it to El Yunusi. Gordon saves his shot. Chiaka reacts quickest ahead of Oyegoki and Forrester to bundle it into the back of the net, and Hearts have it all to do now in the Danish capital.
Yeah, it's the worst possible start to the second half. You know, you do so well for 45 minutes, you get in, and Neil Critch has been telling them, keep it tight, don't do nothing daft. The right back waltzes into the box. It's a really good save by Craig Gordon, but the ball ends up in the back of the net.
Yeah, Hearts, just the 4 clean sheets all season. It's not been a vintage campaign, but did so well in that opening 45 minutes. But they're going to need to continue to try and find the defensive structure they did in the first half, and now on top of that add something in possession. But it's Copenhagen who come forward again here. Delaney into the edge of the area, back out to Silva, loose touch, and then he chicks away from Forrester, who is booked, and that means he will miss next week's game against Petra Cub.
That's you jinxing him when he came on.
I'm not taking the blame for that.
You're taking it.
It's a really nasty one as well. He stabbed right on Silva's foot there.
But what that does is that Halkett's going to have to be fit for next week, because I don't think Kent's going to make it. Oyegoki will go and play right back. But there's a lot of football. Second half here and 90 minutes at Kilmarnock on Sunday before that happens.
Yeah, Adam Forrester, 3 yellow cards in this Conference League campaign, and that will lead to a suspension for him. But Hearts have a set piece to defend more pressingly, more urgently right now. 52 minutes nearly on the clock. They trail 1-0, and El Yunusi is over this one. And the referee's unhappy with whatever jostling is going on in the box there. Never understand why they don't just let the play go on and then call it if they see pulling at the time. But anyway, here we go, and it's going to be the right foot of El Yunusi, and it's a low one, and then it's Shanklin who stuck out a stray leg and puts it over his own crossbar for a Copenhagen corner. Wonder if Craig Gordon shouted for that.
Yeah, it was going straight into Craig Gordon's arms, but Lawrence Shanklin doesn't know what's behind him, does the right thing, gets contact on the ball over the top of the bar.
Corner to the home side, and the ultras behind the goal, which Copenhagen are attacking into, are jumping up and down and in full voice now at their side have found the break for, and again the referee.
Look at that, there's 5 round Craig Gordon, not a Hearts player round in that mix. There's 5 Copenhagen players round Craig Gordon.
Well, I wonder where this is going from Mohamed El Yunusi with the right boot on this near side. In swinger, right on top of the goalkeeper, and the header comes in, and it's bobbling about horribly inside the 6-yard area, and it's gone behind, and Hearts survive. Madness in the box there.
Again, it's zonal marking, you can see that. It's a great save, it's a brilliant save from Craig Gordon. He just sticks out a left foot, and he gets it, I mean, it's point blank. What a save.
It's Delaney who gets the header on it, I think. Just in the mixer, flicked it towards goal. Did really well, actually, but it's a brilliant reaction stop from Craig Gordon.
He must have played with El Yunusi at Celtic, Craig Gordon, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think he would have done that, yeah. 18, 19, 20. El Yunusi was there, and here he is as he tries to take it on the turn in the box, and then it's cut back, and it's hammered towards the goal. What a brilliant save that is from Craig Gordon. He's pulled out another one. 2 in a couple of minutes to keep Hearts in the game. Chiaka this time is denied.
It's poor defending by Hearts. They think the ball's going out for a by kick. It's Penrice again. He's got to defend it properly. It's not enough pace on the ball. El Yunusi, it's a wonderful touch. Penrice thinks it's going out. He sort of gives up on it a little bit. El Yunusi chases it, cuts it back. Chiaka hits it, and Craig Gordon, left hand. What a save.
Brilliant from the nearly 42-year-old Craig Gordon. In swinger from El Yunusi again. Copenhagen win the header, but Hearts just about survived, flicked away from Devlin, and then Shankland gets something on that, and then the referee's whistle is blown for a free kick in the 6-yard box, and Hearts will get a breather because they desperately need to. They can't afford to go 2 down.
Why would you not give Craig Gordon another deal, Ryan?
I agree.
A couple of saves.
The last 2 minutes he's kept them in the game and kept it from 1-0 to what could be a blowout, because there were 2 certain goals that he saved. And I think the thing is they're not just saves that you expect every goalie to make, and especially when you consider his age and how well he's, his shot stopping and his reaction speeds and everything about him is just so good, and he's just done it year after year after year. And yeah, like you said, if he was to go in the summer, who are you going to replace with that experience, with that sort of, even he's come through the system at Hearts, everything that he brings off the pitch to Hearts. I think it would be a really silly move for Hearts to not give him a deal, especially when he's playing like he is tonight.
Yeah, well, the hair may be greying, but the reflexes are not diminishing, it seems, for Craig Gordon, defying age. But here come Copenhagen. El Yunusi on the edge of the box, lays it out to the right-hand side. Really good recovery challenge from Penrice, and then his clearance is blocked behind for the Hearts goal kick.
Nothing wrong with a little bit of grey hair now.
Well, it's pot.
Nothing wrong with hair at all.
It's pot kettle black, I have to say, with the grey hair for me.
You can see how tight that is offside.
Yeah, it's close, but unfortunately for Hearts, it was the right side of the line from a Copenhagen point of view, and they have the leads. And Amin Xhaka, the 18-year-old, was able to celebrate. He thought he was celebrating, making it 2 a few moments later, but for the aforementioned Craig Gordon. Oyegoke heads it out of the fence for Hearts. Not the most convincing. Penrice has a swing at Hearts. Just feel like they're frantic. Lost a bit of composure since going 1 down. Oyegoke under pressure. That's a brilliant turn. Brilliant turn away from El Yunusi, who was almost close to pinching the ball off him.
I think you could see in that opening 45 minutes that Hearts frustrated Copenhagen, but that goal's given them a certain lift. They could be out of sight now if it wasn't for Craig Gordon.
Here's Forrester, halfway line, chips it forward for Hearts, up towards Vargas, tries to chest it to Shankland, it's intercepted. Breaks now though for Cammy Devlin, crosses it to the left corner of the box where it's controlled by Forrest, knocks it back to Penrice. Penrice out to Spittle on the touchline, his pass for Forrest is intercepted by Dix, and it's out for a throw-in. 57 on the clock, Copenhagen 1, Heart of Midlothian 0.
I think Hearts have to be a bit more adventurous if they can, as long as it stays 1-0. If they go with 10-15 minutes to go, I think you'll then see Neil Critchley throwing bodies on. There's got to try and get, if they can get if it stays 1-0, if it goes 2-0, I think the game's got to be done. And then it's damage limitation from then. But as long as it's 1-0, 10 minutes to go, then they can take the chances and throw men on.
Yeah, well, I mentioned Copenhagen have only kept, I should say, 1 clean sheet in their last 14 games. So
Hearts. Is that the same as Hearts?
No, Hearts have kept 4 this season. I'm not sure what Hearts have done in the last 14. Got 1 at Dundee, but the key is Hearts need to actually put them under some sort of pressure, because they have, especially, they've had a tendency this season, Copenhagen, to miss chances where they should have put games to bed, and then, you know, be a bit nervy at the end of games. But Hearts have to actually make those nerves a reality by putting some pressure on them. Here comes Oyegoke. That's a lovely pass inside for Shankland, who twists and turns and gives it back to Oyegoke, now playing centre half, of course, after Kent's withdrawal before the break due to injury. Rolls, plays it across to Penrice, up the line for Spittle, who fires it back to Rolls, controls, gives it to Cammy Devlin in the centre circle, and it's a poor pass from Cammy Devlin. It was a simple one as well for Lawrence Shankland. And then the sliding challenge comes in from Hearts, and it's cannoned off Silva, and out for the Hearts throw-in about the halfway line.
We praise Devlin for his way he gets the ball back, tenacity and everything else, but when he's got time on the ball like that, that was a simple pass, and he gives it away needlessly, under no pressure.
That's what's always kind of not let him down as such, but you know, when you do play Cammy, you know you're going to get that off the ball. You know you're going to get the pressing and the attitude and the aggression in and amongst it, picking up a lot of second balls. the problem for him, and if he wants to make the the step up or become a proper player for Hearts, is that when he does have the ball and when he's under no pressure, is keeping it and making sure he's playing those 10-15 yard passes to not the better players in the team, but the Spittles and the Shanklins who can hold it and create something, because his job is to go and win it. But if he keeps winning it and then giving it back away, he's going to be out the team.
Hearts throw in, Forrester gets it back and then has to roll it back to Oyekoke. Hearts just struggling to pass forward. They're seeing a bit more of the ball though in the last couple of minutes. If they can get it into more advanced position, Spittle takes it in his own half, turns, manages to hack it forward to Forrest, but it's pinched by Copenhagen. El Younousi tries to come inside, but Devlin read it well and makes the tackle, and he wins it again, and this time it breaks for Forrest. Forrest slides it for Forrester, who's coming up from right back midway through the Copenhagen half. Now back for Devlin, who's got a lot of space, and he puts a switch out to Penrice, who himself has lots of grass to play with here. He's going to cross from deep. It's won by Pereira, and then it's chested by Devlin. Shot blocked, and it spins away for a corner kick to Hearts.
Better play again, up on second balls. Devlin doing what he does, and this time he's tried an ambitious shot from probably 20 yards out that's gone out for a corner. But again, you just like to see Hearts, starting to put a little bit more pressure on this defence. Hopefully, a good delivery from the corner and give these fans something to sort of celebrate.
Yeah, Hearts yet to have an attempt on goal in this game. Corner comes in right on top of the goalkeeper, and a little flicked header from Spittle, I think.
It's another corner.
Which is, the defender must have got the touch. It's whipped into a really dangerous area. Yeah, it's come off the head of Hatziadakos, the defender, and skimmed the roof of the net.
See, I would have picked someone else to say there, Thomas. Hatziadakos.
Yeah, I've been practicing. Spittle with the corner into the near post. This one's dealt with more comfortably at the front post area by Copenhagen, and it's back out to Spittle, inside to Devlin, who has it pinched off him. It's come back off him and out for a Copenhagen throw-in, and that's a disappointing one for Hearts after a rare bit of territory as they trail by 1-0. Referee, well, we're going to have a substitution there, but he's
he's been having a go at the referee, Cammy Devlin.
Does not like him.
Yeah, indeed. I thought they were going to have a substitution, but it was just that pause for a lecture from Andrea Colombo. Here come Copenhagen down Hearts' right-hand side, and it's crossed towards the box, but it's blocked by Forrester, and now it's a Copenhagen corner kick.
I think you can just hear, even from the Hearts fans, reaction to getting those two quick corners. There's so many out there. I'd love to be on these sort of away trips and go on and follow Hearts, but when you see them get those corners and the reaction that the fans get, it gives you a bit of a lift as a player. So they just need to stay in the game for the next 10-15 minutes, and then hopefully it's still 1-0, and like you said, we can bring some players on and try and go and nick something.
Once again, they're surrounding Craig Gordon. 5 Copenhagen players right round him.
Yeah, it's going to be another Mohamed El Younousi in-swinger.
The ref's try to see if one of them blocks him. The ref's try to get in a position.
Here comes El Younousi, right foot in-swinger into the 6-yard box. This time it's won by Hearts and then hooked away outside the area. El Younousi goes after it, controls it, tries to use his body, but Shanklin has bested him, but then it flicks off Shanklin, and El Younousi picks up, driving towards the edge of the penalty area, flicks it towards Robert, who miscontrols and then slips. And Hearts will let that run out for a throw-in. 63 played, live on Sports Sound. Copenhagen 1, Hearts 0.
He's been very good tonight, hasn't he? You can see why Celtic signed him. I don't think he's probably showed the potential that he has tonight when he was at Celtic, but I think his touch and his movement has really caused Hearts a lot of problems tonight, and he's probably been the best player on the pitch.
Yeah, he's one of these players, not particularly quick. He's strong enough, but it's just the technical ability kind of glides over the park. And scored 25 times in 67 appearances over 2 years at Celtic, which is a decent strike rate. He's on loan from Southampton, where he did not bad as well. Norway international. Here's the switch from Hatzidiakos out to right back, Kevin Dix. And Copenhagen can take their time a bit more now that they have the advantage, and Dix wanted that played to him from Hatzidiakos. He'd made a really good run as Penrice tucks in, but it wasn't delivered, and Copenhagen keep possession. Through Lopez, the left back, up to Silva, the Brazilian. Now back to Hatzidiakos, who goes long, looking for the switch with the diagonal, but it's won by Elyounoussi. And Elyounoussi going down the right-hand side, cuts it back to Dix, right-hand side of the box, cross, bounces awkwardly, and Gordon comes in. I think maybe he got a foot on it, as Silva was lurking for a tap-in.
I think Penrice is struggling as well now on the left-hand side.
Let's have a look and see whether Craig Gordon got a touch on this. I don't know if it bounced over him, Ryan.
No, I just think the striker's stretching to try and get a touch on it, and I think he's just missed it, to be honest. And Craig Gordon's just spread himself and made it difficult for him. But I don't think anyone's got a touch, and it's gone out for a goal kick. But like Alan said, Penrice is out on that sort of left back area, and you know, we're waiting to see images. But it looks like he's struggling and he's down. And again, Hearts just can't buy a break at the moment. With normally defenders are the strong bunch, aren't they?
Not anymore.
Guys, not anymore.
They're the used to be.
They've all gone to Livingston.
I was going to say, no, James Penrice knows David Martindale well, of course. He come from Livingston, worked with him there, but this would be a real concern for Hearts, which obviously a backup sort of left back. Stephen Kingsley is not going to be playing for a few months at least. So
I've seen it there. I think he's maybe just winded a little bit. I think it's more of a sort of body contact, and he's kind of caught him in the rib cage. So I think it's maybe just taking the wind out of his sails. But yeah, if you're sort of a Hearts player at the moment, you just be telling him take his time, you know, sort of regroup. There's what, 20 odd minutes to go, and just make sure that, like we said, sort of leading into that last 10-15 minutes, that they're still in the game at 1-0 and hopefully go and nick something at the other end.
Yeah, James Penrice down, receiving treatment. Hearts trailing by a goal to 0, 66 minutes on the clock in the Danish capital. As we've mentioned, defeat tonight is far from a disaster for Hearts, with Petrocub to come next week. As we've mentioned, they were goalless with Real Betis at half-time, so there'll be no pushovers. Drew with Başakşehir here as well, but they have been winless up until now in the Conference League. You really fancy Hearts at home, although depending on injuries at this stage. Penrice is back up and walked over to the touchline. Yeah, he's just kind of, Elyounoussi and him have just run into each other. So hopefully James Penrice will be okay to continue for Hearts, who have already lost Frankie Kent's injury in the first half, and that did look a bad one.
Honestly, I wouldn't know who would go and play left back.
Yeah, Cammy Devlin, he's a left footer. Yeah. Hopefully Neil Critchley doesn't have to go there. Penrice is back on. Headed up into the air on the halfway line. Forrester comes from deep to get something on it. It's still in the air as Shanklin tries to bring it down. Has it nicked off him, and Copenhagen are able to fire it back to the goalkeeper, Nathan Trott, formerly of West Ham United. Played for Nancy in France as well before making the move to Denmark and then signing for Copenhagen. He's 26 years old. And the troubling thing for Hearts is he's had nothing to do pretty much tonight. The Copenhagen #1. And the Danish side on course for a win that would take them to 8 points before they go to Rapid Vienna in their final game, looking to seal a place in the top 24. A point may be enough for Hearts, as we've discussed, with so many teams behind them. It's headed to Forrester, loses out, breaks for Oyegoke in his own half, plays it in the air forwards, and it's read by Hatzidiakos. He's played it to Lopez, the left back. Isn't the best pass, hacked up the line by Lopez, won by Delaney. Now Silva, Klaassen I should say, wins the throw-in short of the halfway line.
I think Neil Critchley, with a quarter of the game to go, starts to think about looking at the bench. Young Wilson coming on for Vargas. Vargas has not really been in the game as such. Wilson is an out-and-out goal scorer.
Yeah, you're looking at the options on the Hearts bench: Salazar, Grant, Mackay, Oda, Wilson, Danda, Tate, Boyce and Sandilands. It's not a bench with brimming with experience or recent game time when you look at the amount of minutes those players have played this season.
Yeah, it's not a great one, is it, when you're looking at it and reading it out like that on paper? But you know, I think if you're a Hearts fan that's travelled over there and you know, obviously having a good time and like we said earlier, you want to be there and experience those trips. You probably want to see your manager making a few attacking substitutions at this moment and getting those players on there, because if you're away, you just want to see your team score.
Here come Copenhagen. It's Klaassen, slips it to El Younousi, corner of the 6-yard box. Chance here for Silva, blocked. Shot was from close range. Hearts get a body in the way. Another good chance for Copenhagen, who are looking for the second goal. That would put them in a imperious position in this game. Hearts keeping it to 1, hard digging in, working hard for each other, trying to keep the score to just the 1 goal and hope they can get something, a set piece or anything. It's switched to Delaney on this left-hand side. Low cross, stabbed away, and then the shot comes in, and Craig Gordon was able to watch that come from some distance. William Clem's low strike and get down to his left and make a comfortable save. It remains 1-0 to Copenhagen.
It's a good strike, goes through the legs. One of the Copenhagen players, Craig Gordon's got his eye on it. Comfortable save for him. Well, you say it's comfortable for him.
Yeah.
It's the easiest one tonight.
Yeah, the 2 before that, after Copenhagen had scored, were excellent. But here come Copenhagen again. It's Klaassen, pass intercepted by Rolls. And here's El Younousi, edge of the box. He's going to strike with the left foot, but he blazes it.
Hearts are just looking a little bit tired, aren't they? A little bit leggy. They're not getting on these second balls, and you can see Copenhagen manager there getting frustrated because they're getting in such good positions. Copenhagen sort of around the 30-yard box, and they're making the wrong decisions. He's shooting there when he should possibly slide another player in. There's another chance where I feel like they take too many touches before getting their shot away, and as much to Hearts' credit, if they can keep it at 1-0 and go into that last 10 minutes, I think Copenhagen will start getting a little bit nervous, and fingers crossed it can help the Hearts players and try and create something, because they've really not created anything tonight, to be honest with you.
Nothing. Not a shot on target.
No, the closest they came was Hatzidakos' header that skimmed the roof of the net. And Spittle was lurking, and they need to find some inspiration if they're going to test Copenhagen. But here's a chance here, as it's one in the middle of the park, but Copenhagen win it straight back, and that's been rather the theme of this game from a Hearts point of view. Copenhagen driving forward. It's Giaka looking for Klaassen. Another good interception though by Forrester, and then Boateng tries to come away with it. He has it pinched off him, but it's a good recovery from Forrester to come across and lash it out for a throw-in. But yeah, Neil Critchley, I'm surprised that he's not looked to his bench. 72 minutes played, 1-0 down. They've got so many games to come as well, injuries.
Can't be far away, Thomas, has to be. You're looking at Oda for Forrest possibly, or Danda for Forrest, and Wilson for Vargas.
It's headed up the touchline, and Copenhagen have it, and it's fired forward. It cannons off Giaka. It will be a Hearts throw-in, and there is some action.
Oh, there we go.
On the Hearts bench, and Brian McLaughlin can tell us about it.
Yeah, there's going to be a double change. It is evening over for Kenneth Vargas. He's being replaced by James Wilson, and another replacement, Alan Forrest, who's given the ball away just too often tonight, I think, for Neil Critch's liking, and he's going to be replaced by number 11, Utara Oda.
You could see them coming, Thomas. You could honestly, we've picked them there. There's a toss-up between Oda and Danda to come on, but certainly Wilson was excellent on Saturday against Dundee. Very quick young lad, eye for goal, natural finisher. He just needs a chance. Hearts have not created anything.
Yeah, Utara Oda for Dundee, you'd think that's just down to pace, but Oda not played since September really, and he's been injured.
I think when you're watching Hearts, I think they're so one-paced, and that is, pace is so dangerous in this game, especially now. You look at the Copenhagen players; they look a bit quicker, everywhere across the pitch. And Forrest is, he used to be one of the quickest players in the league, but he just seems to have maybe lost that 1 or 2 yards of pace. And yeah, that's probably been the most glaring thing that when I've been watching Hearts, is they don't have that out-and-out pace that can sort of really frighten defenders.
I think if you see the turnaround in Aberdeen, Ryan, this season, it's mainly due to the pace that they've got.
It is.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially you look at Blair Spittle. He does well out on that left-hand side, but he's not a winger. Really,
but he needs players. He needs fast players. Last season at Motherwell, we had Theo Bear up front, who was rapid and a big, strong boy. So he was, as soon as Spittle got on the ball, Theo knew he could make these runs into the sort of behind the defences, and Spittle would find him. Whereas now, when he's kind of looking up, he's got Shanklin, who wants to come to feet. He's got Vargas, who's not
ball here. Sorry, Ryan. As Elyounoussi goes into the box, he goes down, and he's been penalised for a foul on Craig Gordon. It's Chiaka, in fact, who's run off the Hearts defenders and got in behind. And Craig Gordon came out to the block, and then Chiaka's just kind of run into him. It'll be a Hearts.
Chiaka actually gets to the ball first.
Yeah,
Oyagoki's just trying to shield it back. Chiaka gets his right foot on the ball round Oyagoki there, tries to flick it away from Craig Gordon.
Yeah, interesting. Then Gordon makes contact. I think that's the point that Victor Claassen, the Copenhagen captain, was trying to make to the referee. He gestured ball, as in like he got the ball, and the referee.
Are they having a look at this?
Yeah, I do wonder whether this
could be a
will spell trouble for Hearts.
I think possibly because Craig gets a right hand onto it.
They are
whether
checking
they
it.
check that, whether they think he's done enough to have taken him out, and then Rolls is obviously on the cover as well.
It's one of those, though, to be fair to Craig Gordon, it's two players running out to get the ball. He doesn't get there.
I think the most worrying thing for Hearts is they've been done with that ball over the top from the halfway line 2 or 3 times tonight, and I think as a defender that can't happen. It's probably been 3 or 4 times that a Copenhagen player's got the ball around the halfway line and been able to dig a 35-yard ball over the top.
And the referee's going to the monitor, so that spells trouble for Hearts in Denmark. And it looks like a penalty incoming. Craig Gordon is going to be penalised for taking out Amin Chiaka, who, as we watch here, Alan Preston, does get to the ball first. You called it.
Yeah, he does. I think Oyagoki's got to do better. If there's any doubt, he's just got to smash it away with his left foot. The player goes through, and he's going to give the penalty kick here. It's a penalty. The player gets there and flicks the ball away.
Penalty is given for Copenhagen, and Hearts' chances of a point even in this game now in serious jeopardy. If Copenhagen can take advantage of this situation, it's a lapse from Oyagoki, and Craig Gordon was left really in that situation in no man's land, couldn't go anywhere, and the striker just...
And it also reminds me of when Craig Gordon had that unfortunate double leg break at Tannadice, where it's trying to be ushered through and he comes out.
Yeah.
I think it was Stephen Fletcher that caught him.
It's just lower pace.
Yeah. But Oyagoki's got to deal with it. He's facing the plays, he's got heavy pressure behind him. Craig's not coming to collect it. He's just got to put his left foot through it and clear it for a corner. And
it's going to be Kevin Dix, the defender. Scored 8 from 8 for Copenhagen before the weekend when he missed in their cup win against second-tier Kolding. So a big moment in this game for Kevin Dix. Scored against Kilmarnock at Parkin Stadium in the playoff round. He steps up, right-footed, scores! Bottom corner, sends Gordon the wrong way. And Hearts now are staring a 3rd consecutive defeat in the Conference League right in the face. It is FC Copenhagen 2, Heart of Midlothian 0.
That's a really good penalty by Dick, sending Craig Gordon the wrong way. But again, it's a penalty that should have been prevented. Oyagoki has to do the right thing. He's a young guy, young defender, I get that. But he's getting serious pressure behind him. But Chiaka, he's just got to put his foot through it and clear it, and then deal with it with Craig Gordon and say, OK, I've taken the decision to boot it away. He tries to usher it back. And good striker play by the young centre-forward. Gets there first, nicks the ball away from Craig Gordon, and he's brought down. It is a penalty kick, and it's stuck away with aplomb.
Yeah, the striker's done really well. Yeah, he's not given up on it. He's got that tiny touch that's taken it past Gordon, and it's interesting that he's obviously not taking the penalty after winning it, but he must be the sort of penalty taker. But I think Hearts on a whole, they've not done enough to even draw this game, but I think the 2 goals that they've conceded have been super soft.
9th goal of the season for Kevin Dix. He is the penalty taker, and you can see why, albeit, as I mentioned, he did miss at the weekend, but it's his only one in Copenhagen colours. Stuck that low right into the bottom corner. One of those that even if Craig Gordon goes the right way, he's struggling to get there.
It's an excellent penalty.
What do Hearts have in response? The switch comes out towards Forrester, who's up towards the edge of the Copenhagen box, and that's a slightly underhit back pass, but Nathan Trott, goalkeeper for Copenhagen, gets out quickly enough to deal with it. And Copenhagen have Hearts right where they want them. 79 played, 2-0 in front, and on course to get their second win of the Conference League campaign after draws with Betis and Başakşehir and defeat to Jagiellonian of Poland, who rather surprisingly are flying high in the top few places in the Conference League.
But it wouldn't be Hearts if it didn't take it down to the last game.
Yeah.
I think you would have bit your hand off at the start.
Without a doubt,
to go into the last
I've always
game.
said that Petro Cup.
Yep.
I've been saying it since the start of this, that'll come down to that. They got off to a really good start with Liam Fox in charge. Then Neil Critchley wins his first game against Ammonia as well. But the following games, Heidenheim, Bruges, tough games. Although they should have got something in Bruges if Lawrence had scored the penalty. But tonight, you know, this is a much better side than Hearts. Far, far superior to Hearts. So it was always going to come down to the Petro Cup game for me.
Yeah, bigger budget as well, you have to say. Copenhagen, a wealthy side in Scottish football terms. They'd be up there with Celtic and Rangers in terms of finances. Perhaps not Celtic, but there are far more
They're a
money
good team,
to play
aren't
with.
they? You can tell they're a quality team.
Well, look, I mean, they have lost players since last season's run to the Champions League, but you know, some of these guys were playing and scoring and featuring in victories over Manchester United. They got a goalless draw in the Allianz Arena against Bayern Munich. You know, some have moved on, but there are still guys there who have that experience.
They sold Oskarsson to Real Sociedad.
For 20 million
euros.
Yeah. Oskarsson, their striker, Iceland international. Yeah.
So if you're recouping that money for players, you know, you can invest.
Yeah, I think they brought in about 40 million euros from sales in the summer.
It's not bad going, is it?
Yeah, exactly. So that has been reinvested, and Copenhagen in total control on their own patch against Hearts. They've made a sub, two subs, Lucas Lier and Victor Froholt, both midfielders, both on for the home sides. Two midfielders and get their foot on the ball and take the sting out of this game should they want to. Hearts give away the foul. Devlin brings down Thomas Delaney.
See, I think this is done now. Shanklin would keep on because he's suspended for Sunday, but I'd maybe take off one or two that you're thinking, you know what, maybe Devlin come off, maybe Boateng come off, certainly if you can. It's no one else, but there's no one else that can replace Penrice, but I would have taken him off if I could, because this game's done. You've got to look forward now. Shanklin doesn't play Sunday, so he stays on.
Kilmarnock away on Sunday, Petro Cup at home. Massive game for Hearts next week. St Johnstone at home after that, Derby at home, and then Ross County away to round off 2024. All of those, given where Hearts are in the league, and the Petro Cup almost decider next week, it's huge for the club, for Neil Critchley and these players. Oyagoke under pressure, chips it to Devlin, who went into the book after that challenge, but I don't think it was for the challenge. I think it's because he had another go at the referee.
Again, not like him.
Yeah, you know, I have sympathy, but it's a bit daft because the bookings don't get wiped after the league phase. So, you know, if Hearts do go through, and we hope they do next week, you know, it only takes 3 and you're suspended. You don't want to be missing a knockout round game for something as daft as that.
I think it's going to be interesting to see what Hearts do on Sunday. You know, obviously with their league form has been really, really poor, but they can't really afford to be giving away games or playing a weakened team. But then you've also got that huge carrot on Thursday night, or if they go out and win on Thursday, of getting that playoff game and the money that brings in. And yeah, it's a real tricky one, especially with the injuries. They've probably not been able to shuffle it as much as they can, but yeah, it will be interesting to see the team line up with Sunday, especially with one eye on Thursday.
I'll be hoping that Halkett's back, because as I said, it looks like Kent's taking a nasty one.
Copenhagen try and fire it in behind the Hearts back line again, but Penrice gets back and passes it to Gordon, who launches it long up towards the halfway line. Shankland is there. As Alan mentioned, he is suspended for Sunday's game against Kilmarnock, reached the 6 yellow card threshold in the Premiership. As Forrester does brilliantly coming down the right hand side. That's a good recovery from Lopez, the left back, to get the challenge in. And El Yunusi fires it into Victor Claassen, the captain, in his own half, goes square for Froholt. And now Dix and Copenhagen in no rush as we hit 84 minutes in Denmark, and Copenhagen leading Heart of Midlothian by 2-0 in the Conference League. When we're done here, we'll be straight to Ibrox for full live commentary of Rangers against Tottenham Hotspur in the Europa League, and we will go into the final couple of rounds of games. Of course, the Europa League and Champions League run into the new year with 2 extra games. Conference League just 6 games, 8 in the other 2 competitions, so Celtic and Rangers with another 2 rounds to play. Hearts finish their campaign before Christmas next week, but all 3 Scottish clubs in a really good position, which has been fantastic to see. Just need to try and finish the job now. But
yeah, they need a rock in Tynecastle next Thursday night. It'd be such an achievement, it really would.
Launched long by Trott, headed by Rolls, and then Spittle sends it back to Penrice. Penrice in the left back area, but he's got no passing options, and Hearts not really showing for him further up the pitch, and he has to go backwards, and it's with Oyegoke up to Boateng, first time back to Kai Rolls. And Hearts, I think, rather deflated, some heavy legs as they trail by 2-0, final 5 minutes. It's given away, won by Kevin Dix, who added the second from the penalty spot. Forwards.
The only thing is, I think that they'll be able to add that Musa Drama for Sunday.
Yeah.
So you'd imagine that he would lead the line with maybe Wilson.
Yeah, he's looked bright. Did well against Celtic, getting that goal, and then Aberdeen was really good. Played against Dundee the weekend as well. Going to be another couple of changes coming for Copenhagen. One of them will be Andreas Cornelius, the veteran centre forwards. Trott plays out from the back, and it's picked off now by Hearts though, and now it's played down the left hand side of the box, and the cross is turned behind, and that will be a goal kick. 2-0 it remains. That was just a fleeting glimmer of hope for Hearts in an attacking position, but it was quickly snuffed out.
I think that's the thing for the fans. They've not even had an attempt on goal, which would be really disappointing for them. They've turned up their numbers, 2,500 there, and it's just not been Hearts' night. I didn't expect it to be, Thomas, if I'm being brutally honest. When you look at the calibre of Copenhagen, where they've been, the amount of European experience that they've got over the years, over the piece, playing in a much higher level than this, and they've been worthy winners.
Yeah, and Copenhagen making a couple of changes. Yeah, I think as a fan, when you go on these trips, you just want one moment. They got hammered in Florence, but Hearts did score, and it's just that moment of just jubilation where, you know, you get to get the bounce in the away end and get to celebrate, hugs all round, but Hearts haven't even had that. Chiaka, the goal scorer and the man who won the penalty for Copenhagen, makes way for Andreas Cornelius.
I also think the frustrating thing for Hearts fans that have travelled and gone there is they've conceded poor goals at poor times. The first half you'd be thinking, if you're standing in the stadium, being like, all right, it was backs against the wall, but let's try and keep it tight for the first 20 minutes of the second half and then see what we can do. They concede straight after half-time, such a soft goal from a Hearts point of view, and then you just think, right, get to the last 10 minutes and try and give us something. Let's see if Copenhagen are a little bit nervous or a little bit apprehensive, and then they just concede, and it's just, it's made the last 15 minutes of this game pretty much irrelevant and borderline walking pace. So I think from that point of view, from Hearts, they'll be disappointed on one side for the goals that they conceded, but I think they'll also be disappointed that they've barely even laid a glove on Copenhagen.
Yeah, they've really struggled for goals in the last few Conference League games since that wonderful win at Tynecastle against Ammonia. Not scored since in the 3 games that have come. Well, this one's not quite done yet. They may get on the score sheet at 88 minutes. Nothing so far. Here's Forrester down the right-hand side. Again, it's a poor pass, which Lopez lets run through his legs and then goes back to his goalkeeper, who clears it down the field. Cornelius controls it on the chest, offloads it to Matson, who's just come on as well, and Hearts get the free kick though, middle of the pitch, and that will be of some comfort to them, and say, just shell it into the box, see if you can cause a few problems, get a goal and set up a nervy ending.
I think when you see it, they're certainly missing Halkett at the centre of defence. Beningame for me is a big loss, because he is one that does pass it forward and keeps it. And then you've still got Nunoff, Nunoff's been out the whole season as well. He was excellent when he first came into Hearts.
Spittle sends it into the penalty area towards the back post, but it's headed away by Dixon and Delaney, and it's hacked forwards and out for a throw-in on the far side. Thoughts will be turning from a Hearts point of view to a visit to Rugby Park, which, you know, it's probably a cliche, Alan, but it's really not the sort of place you want to go after an away trip on a Thursday night. I know Kilmarnock are struggling, but
I think also when you look at the Saturday game between Hibs and Ross County haven't won away from home since September 23. So you would expect Hibs to win that. So Hibs would come off the bottom, and then it would be Hearts and Kilmarnock to see who's going to be bottom of the league.
Yeah. Cleared by Pereira, and Cornelius tries to gather, but Oyegoke wins it, but then gives it away, and it breaks for Cornelius at 30 yards out. Good batting from Cammy Devlin. He's just so good at that. Wins the ball, and it's given away, and Lopez miscontrols. Forrester now gives it to Boateng, lets it run across his body over the halfway line into Shankland, who first time puts it out to Forrester, right hand touchline. He's got space in front if he wants to take it. Goes with the early cross. It's a good one. It's headed away by Copenhagen, out for a throw-in on this right hand side.
Even especially the way that Kilmarnock plays, you know, they're right up on second balls. They're physical. They play it, I would say direct, but they get it forward quickly. And that's not what you want after sort of, you know, they've had, what, 30% possession tonight. There'll be a little bit heavy leg going into the weekend. Astro pitch, it's going to be a really, really difficult game for them on Sunday, also with one eye on Thursday night as well. So it's,
you'd imagine Kilmarnock want to keep the pace of the game up, Ryan, straight away. You know, because there will be tired legs, because some of these guys, he's not got that big a squad that he can mix it around and change the whole 11.
We're into 5 minutes of stoppage time. We've played 40 seconds of it. Copenhagen 2, Hearts 0. Live on Sportsound, BBC Radio Scotland. We'll be at Ibrox after this for Rangers against Tottenham Hotspur. Massive game in the Europa League. The return of Ange Postecoglou, Ryan's best mate, to
my hero,
to Glasgow.
So gutted I'm not there tonight. Just to see him in real life.
Maybe we'd speak to you at this time.
Yeah.
Penrice rolls it to Boateng in the centre circle, and then it's Devlin. Hearts, it's like a training game almost now for both teams. Hearts, you know, they know the game's up, trying to conserve energy. Copenhagen know the job is done.
Yeah, they're not pressing as hard as they did in that opening period.
And a foul on Shankland, just over the halfway line in Hearts half by Delaney. Even having a player like Thomas Delaney, a guy with over 80 caps for Denmark, played at the highest level, a guy like that in midfield, that's a kind of quality Hearts have been up against tonight. Here's Devlin, knocks it forwards, and is returned by Oda. Now Oyegoke towards the near touchline, back to Rolls, who's under pressure from Maatsen, and then likewise Penrice is under pressure and has to go back to Gordon. 2 of the 5 added minutes played in the Danish capital. Hearts are heading towards a 3rd consecutive defeat in Europe without scoring, but the 2 wins at the start of this campaign means they still have a massive chance to progress should they do the business at home to Petrocub of Moldova next week. And they, I know there will be no pushovers, but Hearts would back themselves, especially at hopefully a packed and rowdy Tynecastle, if they can keep their best players fit, which seems to be a big if at the moment. Oyegoke does well to run away from El Younousi and drive into the Copenhagen half, looking for a pass, decides to just launch it into the box towards Oda, whose touch is heavy. Shankland goes after it, he's out muscled by Lopez, and then goes down. The referee doesn't blow, so Forrester picks up. Forrester tries to cross, blocked by Hatzidiakos, and out for a throw-in on this near side. But well, that was interesting from Lopez, deciding to just go down.
I think everyone just kind of stopped expecting it to be a foul, and to be honest, Forrester should have done a lot better in that situation. He's sort of waltzed into the 18-yard box without anyone near him. He's either have to pick somebody out to get a tap in, or he has to shoot himself, and he's just kind of got caught in 2 minds, and the ball's gone out for a throw-in.
I think he's hit his calf, I would imagine.
Yeah, I thought, to be fair, if you're going to go down, just boot it off the park. It's just so strange to go down, unless he really has done himself some damage. Marcos Lopez, the Peruvian, on loan from Feyenoord, won the title with Arne Slot, now the Liverpool boss. Of course, he He's down at the moment. But yeah, I thought if he was going to go down and just put it off the pitch, but he allowed Forrester to take it, and then Forrester, as Ryan just said, should have done better. In a dangerous area, it was almost like he was stunned to even be in a position to make a cross. It was blocked. Lopez is back on his feet and limps off the park. We've now ticked past 4 of the 5 added minutes, but we're going to have even more time added due to this injury, and he's been replaced. Lopez and Berger. Melling is on, the replacement left back, and we'll get this Hearts throw in now. Forrester goes backwards to Oyegoke, then Forrester chips towards Devlin, whose short leg can't reach that in the air. Picked up in the middle of the pitch by Boateng, then out to Forrester, right touchline, midway through Copenhagen half. Can Hearts get a goal and set up a frantic finish? Or will Copenhagen see this out comfortably? Hearts have, well, not threatened at all this evening, it's safe to say. Headed away as that long ball came to nothing from Hearts' point of view. Boateng tries to take it on the turn, loses the ball though. Maatsen out to Elyounoussi, who takes it in his stride and just jogs down the left touchline towards Forrester, in no rush as he turns back. Gives it to Delaney. Now Hatzidiakos, the Greek international. Copenhagen, I think, will just try and keep the ball until the referee Andrea Colombo decides to blow his whistle. And Copenhagen are going to go above Hearts in the Conference League standings, on to 8 points. Hearts will stay on 6. To Nathan Trott, the goalkeeper, goes short. Now it's with Klaassen and out to the right-hand side. And Copenhagen just eating down the seconds, in no rush to add to their 2-goal leads. And Hearts, heavy-legged, confidence strained, and the fans, nearly 3,000 of them, behind the goal that Hearts are shooting into. I'm sure they'll have had a great time regardless, and I'm sure they will have a great time when the final whistle blows as well. But in terms of things to shout about in this game, there has been nothing bar a few Craig Gordon saves, really.
Yeah, I'm sure those 3-pound pints will be going down smoothly tonight with those Hearts fans, but yeah, I think they'll be just bitterly disappointed in the performance.
There is a full-time whistle. It is a 3rd straight defeat for Hearts in the Conference League without scoring. Outclassed by FC Copenhagen in the end. 2 second-half goals. The first from Amin Chiaka, who was quickest to react after Gordon had denied Mohamed Elyounoussi. Bundled it in from close range 3 minutes into the second period. Craig Gordon kept Hearts in it with 2 absolutely brilliant saves to deny Delaney and Chiaka, before Amin Chiaka then won a penalty from Craig Gordon. Beat him to the ball. Gordon ran into him. Referee was sent to the monitor, awarded the spot kick, and Kevin Dix stepped up 78 minutes and tucked it away. Sent Gordon the wrong way to make it 2-0, and Copenhagen eased it from there. Hearts have dropped down the standings. They stay on 6 points, down to 21st for the moment. Copenhagen move above them, but it's still in the balance. If they can get points next week at home to Petrocub at Tynecastle, that will be a massive one for Heart of Midlothian Football Club. They need a result there to try and progress in the Conference League. Tonight it wasn't to be. It finished in Denmark. FC Copenhagen 2, Heart of Midlothian 0.